The morning light broke through a fractured sky, a vast ceiling of shimmering cracks where the atmosphere itself seemed made of glass. Beneath that broken dome, the world lay in ruins. Cities once alive now stood silent, blanketed in ash and metallic dust. The wind howled with static, carrying faint echoes of the disaster that had torn the heavens apart. Dr. Lyra Quinn stirred inside the wreckage of a half-destroyed shuttle, her uniform scorched and her hands trembling as she adjusted a cracked display panel. A flicker of blue light pulsed weakly on the console, and then a voice crackled through the static. "Lyra, you alive in there?" It was Captain Eli Marin, a familiar voice, worn but alive. Relief broke through Lyra's exhaustion as she answered. Eli had survived. Barely. His ship had crashed just east of the city, close to the rift, the wound in the sky that glowed brighter with each passing hour. Lyra stepped out into the ruins, her breath visible in the cold, irradiated air. She carried a small pack filled with the remains of her research equipment, and one small, unstable orb of light, the prototype core that had caused all this. As she made her way toward Eli's signal, fragments of the shattered sky fell around her. Each glowing shard hissed when it struck the ground, burning holes into the concrete. Over the comm, she spoke quietly, almost to herself. Every shard is a piece of the atmosphere, condensed and unstable. If one hits the main reactor, we're finished. Eli's calm voice replied. Then let's make sure that doesn't happen. When Lyra finally reached him, she found Eli sitting near the edge of a broken overpass, his flight suit torn and blackened from fire. He smiled faintly when he saw her. "You're late," he said. She gave a small, bitter laugh. "Had to dodge pieces of the sky." The tension between them melted into a brief moment of human warmth amid the ruin. For the first time in weeks, they weren't just survivors. They were two people who had shared something immense: loss, failure, and the hope of redemption. Eli's gaze drifted to her pack. "You still carrying it?" he asked. Lyra nodded and unzipped it, revealing the humming orb. It pulsed like a living heart, faintly blue. "That's what caused all this?" he asked. "It's what was supposed to save us," Lyra whispered. "They wanted to harness the sky's energy, to make it infinite. I warned them it wasn't ready. When it overloaded, the atmosphere fractured instead of stabilizing." She couldn't look him in the eyes. Eli said nothing for a long moment. Then quietly, "You blame yourself." Lyra's voice cracked. "Wouldn't you?" He sighed. "Maybe. But guilt won't seal the sky." In the distance, the atmospheric core towered above the city, a needle of glass and steel piercing directly into the glowing rift. "If we can reach that tower," Eli said, "we can try to reboot the field manually." Lyra met his eyes. "That's a two-person job." He smiled faintly. "Lucky for us, there's two of us left." Together, they began the long trek through the ruins. They crossed bridges made of fallen aircraft wings, camped in hollow subway tunnels where they could hide from the sky shards, and shared what little food they had. Each night, Lyra stared at the orb, whispering apologies to it, as if it were a spirit she had wronged. Eli coughed more each day, hiding the pain, the radiation burns spreading beneath his collar. Neither spoke of it. They both knew what the end of the road might mean. By nightfall on the fourth day, they reached the base of the core tower. The air was alive with energy, humming, crackling, unstable. The tower's surface glowed faintly, streaks of lightning running up its sides toward the wound in the sky. Eli looked up at it with awe and dread. "You do this, Lyra. You might not make it back," he said softly. "I broke the sky," she replied. "I'm not walking away until it's whole again." Together, they stepped into the tower's shattered entrance. Inside, the control room was a graveyard of flickering lights and burnt-out panels. Lyra found the main console and set the orb into a docking port. The system recognized it immediately, a deep hum filling the air. "When I start the sequence," she said, "you'll need to reroute the power flow manually. If it overloads, I'll buy you time." Eli interrupted. She turned sharply. "You're not buying time, you're burning it." He gave her a small, tired smile. "Someone's got to hold the sky up." There was a silence, the kind that carries more truth than words ever could. "I never told you," she whispered. "I only joined the project because of you." Eli's voice was gentle. "I know. That's why I stayed." Then she pressed the final key. The tower roared to life. Energy pulsed upward through the core, a river of blue light shooting into the heavens. The cracks in the sky began to close, their sharp edges melting into soft bands of color. But the power was too much. Feedback surged through the system. Sparks exploded. Lyra screamed as the console erupted in flame. Eli braced himself against the secondary terminal, diverting the energy flow with his bare hands. His skin blistered. His breath came ragged, but he held on. Almost there, he gasped. Just a little longer. Outside, the sky healed. The rift shimmered, sealed, and then, for the first time in years, dawn broke clean and blue. Lyra stumbled out of the tower at sunrise, the orb now dark in her hands. Smoke rose behind her, but the world was quiet, peaceful. She looked up, tears streaking her ash-covered face. Eli, she said into the calm, voice trembling. You did it. The sky, it's beautiful. Only static answered. For a long moment, she stood there, listening to the silence. Then she opened her hand and released the orb. It floated upward, slowly, until it vanished into the morning light. A final offering to the man who held the sky together long enough to make it whole again. They said the sky would save humanity. They never said who it would take to do it.